Howdy folks, I'm a splendid stellar jay soaring swiftly towards starry skies!
I'm Amber.
And here are more starry skies for us to glide towards. You know, when you reach for the stars, if you miss, you might hit the moon. Or maybe that was if you go for the moon, you'll reach the stars. I don't know. I don't really know how this expression... Just don't go into the sun. That's all I'm asking. Let's get started. Our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Not Buying the Dress? I'm a 35-year-old female, and I was married to a 36-year-old male, and we had 2 kids, now a 17-year-old female and a 5-year-old male before divorcing. My ex-husband ended up having an affair right around the time that we got pregnant with our daughter. So he has 2 17-year-old females. We'll call my daughter Katie, and we'll call the affair baby Sally. Well, I found out about Sally when both girls were 14. Sally's mom had lost her job and could no longer make ends meet. She asked about the money, and he refused. She told him that she would take him in for child support. The DNA came back that he was the dad, and I served him divorce papers a year later. Both girls have a prom coming up. I pay for their private education because Katie wanted to go to the same school with her. I always was the breadwinner due to being a trust fund baby and making a salary of $98,000 a year. My husband never really made much of a salary, maybe around $15,000 at most. I took my daughter dress shopping and she wanted to take Sally. I protested this idea because I was going to a high-end shop and I knew Sally wouldn't be able to afford a dress from here. She kept insisting, and my ex told me just to let her go. I gave in, and I felt bad because I could tell Sally was wanting one of these dresses. I told Sally that we could go somewhere else for her to look for dresses if she wanted to, and she declined. Katie picked out a designer dress that was a blue ombre. Sally seemed very upset, and I offered to take her to look at dresses in her price range and throw in a few $100s to help. She declined. We took her back home. My ex called me and was mad at me, asked what was wrong with me, and he just blew up on me, saying that I was wrong for not buying Sally a dress and that Sally was wanting a dress that Katie had tried on. Apparently, when Sally got home, she started asking them for one of the dresses that Katie had tried on. I told him that this is why I didn't want to take Sally. I thought the problem would die there. Katie finally got her dress after the alterations. She wanted to take the dress and show her dad and stepmom. She goes there with it and doesn't return with it. She came in crying and telling me that her stepmom took the dress. Told her that she could wear the dress that was the same amount as Sally's. My daughter is a teen and obviously believes that she has to wear a dress that is the same amount as her peers. I called up my ex, and he said that he would return the dress to us in May. Prom is in March. I told him that he would return it now, or I would stop paying for Sally's schooling. I told the school that I would no longer be paying for Sally's school, and to ask my ex for the check. Ex got the word and called me in a rage. I told him that the sooner that I get the dress back, the sooner I'll take responsibility and pay back. I told him that it's not my fault that his wife continued to have kids that they couldn't afford. He yelled that I could have just bought the dress for Sally and hung up on me. Since then, he's made a Facebook post and contacted his stepmom and family over the situation. I'm being called names that I should just buy the dress because it wouldn't hurt my pockets. So am I the jerk for not buying the dress? All right, folks, what do you think?
Not the jerk, and the sheer audacity. Like, Opie is paying for the affair child's school because she doesn't want to sabotage her daughter's relationship. She wants them to be close. Like, she is going well above and beyond. And she's not obligated to do that. She could very reasonably be like, well, I'm sorry you can't go to the same school as her, but like they just don't have the money.
Yeah.
No, she's willing to go above and beyond for this child that is the product of an affair, which that's not the child's fault, of course, but like she's not obligated. And the audacity of these people to be like, well, you could just buy her a dress. Like, it doesn't matter if Opie has the money to buy her a dress. Sally is not her child.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think that this one's pretty straightforward. I don't think there's a whole lot of nuance here. Like you said, OP is being extraordinarily generous here. And the fact is that they are trying to take advantage of her kindness. They think that they can push and bully her around, and on top of that, take OP's property that she bought. Now, I think that what they did here was terrible. And I mean, I understand them wanting their daughter to have a nicer dress, but they should have been saving up for a long time for a nicer dress if that's what they wanted. And on top of that, OP even offered to contribute a little bit of extra money to, Sally here. So,
Yeah, if you get into the comments, OP was willing to kick in $600.
yeah.
So she could have gotten like a $1,400 dress, which is not exactly chump change. I mean, I didn't go to prom, but if I had, I would have had like a $50 dress from Deb.
Yeah, I think that these numbers are all way out of our price range. And it's hard to feel bad for the for Sally in this situation. It really is. I mean, again, like she is being spoiled here. You don't need a very, very fancy dress to go to prom. And on top of that, I understand that she's going to a private school and maybe she's going to not have as fancy of a dress as some of her peers, but that really doesn't matter at the end of the day. And she should just be happy that OP is being as generous as she is in paying for her schooling. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. Oh, and folks, we have a lot of stories to cover today, so I'm just going to skip over the comments. Alright folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Not Babysitting My Sister's Kids Anymore? Introduction. I'm a 27-year-old male, and I did some accidental good financial decisions years ago that put me in the position where I can do mostly what I love. Mess with all kinds of electronics, play video games a lot, etc. I am a huge nerd. I own a small electronics and computer shop where I fix customers' devices, etc. Also sell general computer stuff and other small electronics, and I live in the same building. I don't spend all of my time in the shop. I have 2 workers who work in shifts, and I still work when I feel like it or when they ask for help. I also replace them when they need a vacation or sick day. I have a sister, Jane, a 34-year-old female, and she has 3 kids. Mary, a 14-year-old female, Julia, a 6-year-old female, and Jack, a 4-year-old male. And as I'm the only one with basically unlimited free time to watch the younger kids, Mary doesn't need to be watched anymore, but she often hangs out in my shop either way. I do it every time the kids are sick or my sister is at a business trip for her work. And after COVID, kids are sent home for every tiny cough and sneeze. So what happened? My grandmother had her 80-year birthday and everyone was invited. Relatives that I don't even remember seeing before. My sister and I were sitting close to each other, and suddenly one lady, who was maybe my grandmother's cousin or something, started to ask everyone what they did, and I told them that I run a small business, and my sister out of nowhere says, yeah, by running a small business, he means being very lazy and sleeping until noon. Sometimes chills out in the store and plays video games or watches movies all day, while some of us have to work hard for their success. It's all technically true. While she studied her whole life, I went to trade school and I got lucky with a few business decisions. But I felt kind of hurt that she forgot that for her to get the education that she got, others had to watch her kids. So I told her, oh, don't forget that I'm also a full-time free babysitter. But I decided to quit and focus on being lazy. She did not say anything more. Did not take me seriously either, as a week later I get a phone call from her in the morning that Jack threw up a few times at night. She would bring him to my place, and I said, don't you forget that I quit, and that's because I'm too lazy to watch the kids. And I ended the call. I went back to bed, and then I woke up a little while later, and there were multiple missed messages from my sister telling me that I'm a selfish jerk, and that I act like I'm the center of the world. I replied politely, sorry you feel that way. Later, my mom called me and told me that I put my sister in a really tough position, as she, mom, can't take days from the hospital in such short notice either, and Jane has nobody to watch the kids. Am I the jerk for not watching them? I am not hurt because of the truth. I know that I'm lazy. I'm hurt that she acts like watching our kids has been nothing. Names are changed. I still have a good relationship with my relatives. I just don't babysit anymore. I don't even avoid my sister. Burner account for privacy. Alright folks, what do you think?
Not the jerk. I mean, it seems really rude of her. Like, I understand being frustrated when someone was able to work less than what you work, you feel like. But again, he's been watching her kids for free. And so to just like throw that back in his face, like, oh, he's just lazy. Like, it's just such a rude thing, it's like the old adage, don't bite the hand that feeds you.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think this is a classic case of don't bite the hand that feeds you. And also, OP is responsible for running a business, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's probably a lot more that OP does than what she realizes. And as long as he's able to keep his affairs in order, he's doing fine here. And I think that she really seriously underestimates how much he's doing and how much work it required for him to get to the place where he can just sit around and be lazy all day, right? And I think that this is really unfortunate that she is treating him, taking him for granted like this.
Well, and her whole remark about you're not the center of the universe when she's acting like she can just thrust her kids on someone because her life is so important.
Yeah. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. Alright folks, and our next letter is an update. My wife bailed out her mother with our shared money. And this is the key one, where the mother-in-law stole OP's key collection and sold it for a phone. This is just a small update. I plan on a big one in roughly a week. But I'm taking some time off of work, locking down my credit, and I've got an appointment for a consultation with a divorce lawyer tomorrow. I'm honestly surprised that I got one this soon. No, I didn't get my keys back yet. Police still have them, but they'll be returned soon. I think that they have to go through it all and compare it to the documentation that I provided. But my wife and I have had a big fight because she took the money to bail out her mother and pay off the pawn shop from our joint bank account. And I'm removing any money that I have in it tomorrow. My wife can have what's left in it because that was all hers. I haven't been sleeping well and the stress is giving me migraines, but I am determined to power through this. Alright folks, what do you think of this update?
I mean, it's unfortunate. This is how things played out. I'm glad Opie's going to get their keys back, and I think divorce is probably the best option in this case. It doesn't sound like the wife is being reasonable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really unfortunate. I feel bad for OP. They just really didn't have any other option. Like, when you start enabling somebody who's stolen stuff, then that really is putting their bad behavior above your relationship.
Right. Well, and then using joint finances to bail her out. So essentially trying to take OP's money to pay for the stolen stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I know it's her money too, but like presumably, OP didn't want to pay this off. That's why he filed the police report.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's sad. It's very sad. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck, OP. Alright folks, and our final letter is an update. Update for not feeding my daughter. So this one was a couple days ago, and basically OP was going to stop paying for her daughter's food, if you remember.
And make sure the daughter make all her own meals. She wasn't allowed to have any leftovers from the fridge or anything like that.
Yeah. So part of our deal was that I make another update post about my situation. So here we are. A lot has happened since the last post. Some good, some bad. As I wrote the original as a comment, my daughter and I did outline a deal that met in the middle of our desires, which I'll detail shortly. First of all, there have been way too many attacks on me as a mother. I understand how extreme the situation might seem, but this is no way to judge a parent in his or her entirety. I can assuredly say that we both love each other and I have her best interests at heart. Many of you made the point that I should have taught my daughter kitchen skills earlier, pointing the finger at my past. A few of you understood that I was 100% willing to spend the next 5 months doing just that. Why not earlier? Before 12, I didn't want her in the kitchen for safety reasons. After that, she never really initiated any interest. After all, she didn't need to. Some of you went as far to call her spoiled and entitled for having parents make her meals. She was in no way irresponsible or overly dependent, and was successful in both school and her activities. Cooking was just not a priority. Why did I flip the switch just now? It was truly out of care, or so I thought. I believed a 5-month notice would be plenty of time to get her up and going. But it caused even more trouble. I've seen parents evicting their child at 18, something that I would never do. I do concede that my statement about the leftovers was harsh. Frankly, that night my emotions were getting to me, and I regret stating it as I did. I just wanted to make sure that she didn't perceive this as a fake or weak threat, and even though I went too far. So, what is the conclusion? Well, as you read, she wanted me to post again to show how she won. I apologize sincerely for my statement, and she did forgive me. Our plan now is largely the same. She will cook alongside me until her graduation, as I teach her until she prepares a graduation dinner all by herself. This was her idea. She doesn't hate cooking, she just wants to learn without the threat of starvation. There will be no final meal, but I do expect her to be much more involved in the kitchen. Alright folks, what do you think of this update?
I mean, I think it's a good resolution. It gives the daughter the cooking skills she needs, but without the threat of her not having food in the future.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that, like what OP is saying, that her emotions were running high, and maybe she put this in a way that she didn't really mean to. So I'm glad that the situation got resolved like this. I really feel like OP kind of just was trying to get the point across that she needed to be able to cook on her own. And again, I'm glad that this situation resolves the way it did. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. Alright folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here, and Amber, she has a joke.
What might you call a haunted breakfast?
Well, I can tell you exactly what I would call a haunted breakfast. I would call it breakfast, because every breakfast that I eat is haunted.
Ghost toast.
Ghost toast.
And there's a little picture.
This one is one that Amber created. I didn't make the ghost toast.
Yeah, it was in Canva, but I redid it. It did not have a ghost face, and it was not ghosty pale either.
And I have licorice spice. Alright folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy Friday! Oh my goodness folks, we made it to the end of the week, and boy, what a week it has been. It has been a long, tiring week, and I hope it's going to be a restful weekend for you. Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and our guidance, and please have it involve biting the hand that feeds you.
Don't
bite the hand that feeds you. Wow, what a concept. Whether that's in babysitting for free or maybe somebody's educational expenses being paid for. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.